your city coordinators, along with Christy Torres. Thanks for joining us. We always welcome you and just can't thank you enough for spending your Wednesday mornings. We can't think of a better way to spend ours. And so a big, big thank you, though, to the Dallas Entrepreneur Center for being an amazing venue and host. So please give it up for them. We can't do it without them. Okay, thank you. Awesome. And just a nice quick shout out to Pertu for always providing me delicious treats. So big thank you. And then to Shade Tree Coffee Roasters for keeping us caffeinated. That's so important, being an entrepreneur. All right, cool. So just a little bit background information about 1 Million Cups, educational program produced by the Kauffman Foundation, here to engage, connect, educate local entrepreneurs while helping build startups on a grassroots level. We'll have 2 presenters today. They'll each have 6 minutes to present, and then we'll have 15 minutes of open Q&A and feedback session. So Christy will have the mic in order for everyone to be heard. We're filming for YouTube, so we'd like for you to raise your hand, wait for the mic, and then speak loudly into the microphone. And then we always have a big tradition here to stand up and give a big round of applause every time someone takes the stage. So let's practice that now. We have our first presenter, Laura from Optologix. So everyone, please give a big round of applause. Let's welcome her. Thank you. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so as Lauren said, my name is Laura Mota. I'm CEO and co-founder of Optologix. We're a biotechnology company based here in Dallas and based on a technology that spun out of BT Southwestern. So, okay, great. I'm a scientist by training, and one of the things I've always been interested in is how organisms sense their environment. A great example of this is how plants are able to sense light and move towards it. This process is mediated by proteins called photosensors. And these photosensors are the molecular components that will drive this process. And if we think about it, light is actually an ideal stimulus. It's non-toxic, it's non-invasive, you can easily localize it in space and time. So as a result, there's been a lot of interest to use these photosensors and adapt them for biomedical research. One of the first successful applications of this method, which is called optogenetics, was done in neuroscience. And in this process, we've taken a photosensor from algae and introduced it into specific mouse neurons to control neuronal activity. Because this photosensor was an ion channel, you're able to control brain circuits inside of the living animal using simply blue light. This is just one photosensor example that I'm showing, but nature has actually evolved hundreds of these photosensors with different functions. So the focus of our company is actually to engineer these photosensors into new optogenetic tools that can have broad applications in biotechnology and pharma. So I'm just showing here some of the advantages of these optogenetic tools that are missing from the traditional chemical systems, and some of the applications that you can use these different optogenetic tools in. And today I just want to tell you about one example, a new product, the first product of Optologix, which is called Light Switch and can be used for drug target validation. And this product, Light Switch, can control gene expression specifically in cells and animals just by simply turning on a blue light. So conventional tools, as I was mentioning, use chemicals to turn on activity inside of a cell. And in this example that I'm showing, the traditional system uses a drug or antibiotic called tetracycline to drive gene expression inside of cells. But as we all know, drugs have many side effects, and in this case, there's no exception. Tetracycline has many toxic and off-target effects that can then result in false positive results in preclinical studies, which carry on into clinical studies where the incorrect therapeutic target can be studied. These mistakes are estimated to cost drug companies around $28 billion. Our solution, as I mentioned, is a product called Light Switch. It's a light-controlled gene expression tool that uses blue light to drive gene expression and is based on a bacterial photosensor that we've adapted to work in human cells. The three major properties that customers look for in this type of tool is put together in light switch, and these are, it's a non-invasive and has no off-target effects. It has a high expression and low background, and is unmatched in terms of spatial and temporal control. No competitor product combines all of these capabilities, and what's more, we already have around 60 early adopters in academic and industry labs that are using our tool today. So the market for these types of tools is shown here. It's around $1.4 billion as of today and is spread into three main markets: therapeutic, industrial, and research. We have insight into this market thanks to those early adopters and a customer survey that we conducted about a year ago. Our light switch product, as I've been mentioning, is consisting of 2 DNA plasmids and a light source. There is no regulatory approval required for this type of reagent, which will only be used for research purposes. And the way we plan to make revenue is to license this product to for-profit companies, depending on the use that they want to employ this in. And nonprofit organizations like universities will have a research-only license to use this product. Now, as I was saying, we plan to expand and build many products and have a catalog of optogenetic solutions to diverse biological problems. And this will put us in a position to be acquired by a major reagent company. However, our first product will be light switch. Okay, I just wanted to show you a list of accomplishments for the Optologix in the first year. But since I'm running out of time, I'll just flip through the management team and just mention that there are 3 of us. 2 of us are co-founders, myself and Kevin Gardner, who's a professor, who was a professor at UT Southwestern and now works in New York. And he is an expert in photosensor biology. And finally, we have Jahan, who's our business advisor. Thank you very much for your attention.
We're going to open up the floor for questions and feedback. Please raise your hand high and I will bring you the microphone.
Yes, you mentioned licensing it. Have you guys identified exactly what companies would be interested in doing this just yet?
Yes, actually we already have one sub-licensee, and it's a company in Boston called Annabelle. They're in the business of making engineering genomes, so this technology has really benefited them in their manufacturing other organisms. So that's one potential user, but really anyone who's doing gene expression, which is the majority of pharma companies that are starting in preclinical studies, could be a user for us.
I have 2 questions, and this comes out of I'm not a scientific person, so I apologize. The way that you use expression is different from the way that I would use expression. So I'm going to ask you just to clarify gene expression when you're talking about it. And then the second question is, I'm not quite sure that I understand the problem that you're solving with Optologix or your light switch product. So just clarifying that for me would be really helpful.
Do you have time to clarify it now, just for everyone? So, sorry about that. I neglected to mention that the major problems with the conventional chemical tools are that they have, 1, major side effects, because they don't only just do the things that you want them to do, they will bind to many things and cause side effects. Secondly, you can't localize a chemical to a specific area for a specific time the way that you can do that with light. Right? So light, you can focus a laser beam on a certain part of your body. You can turn it on and off really easily. But chemicals will diffuse everywhere, and you can't really take them away once you add them.
Since you're using plastics, is there any risk of having side effects, or how can you control that there's no problem with that in the bodies, in the system?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, you said that you were using plasmids in the process.
Right.
Yeah. So how could you control that so that it doesn't cause any side effects in the organisms that are going to be inserted with those plasmids?
So yes, as I mentioned, the product is at its core 2 DNA plasmids. And the first plasmid will contain the gene for the photosensor, and that will be expressed all the time once you put it inside of the cell. It's non-toxic. These DNA plasmids don't have side effects because they're only there to make one protein product. So if we're talking about cells and even animals, these have been used for 50 years. DNA plasmids have been around a long time. So they're not really, they don't cause side effects. And the second plasmid will be the expression plasmid. So that will contain the gene that you want to express or produce in this case. And then it will be controlled by that photosensor. So there is no really harm or side effect related to that. But one alternative to that, one thing I should mention is the photosensor possibly could bind to something else inside of the genome, but that's very unlikely because this is a bacterial protein, so there shouldn't be anything in human genome that really binds to.
Person over here. I have kind of a two-part question. One is this for therapy with use of light, like you have to go in? And then secondly, what are you looking for from us as a community?
Sure. Okay. So thank you. That's a very good question, and you're definitely right that in the long term, that's a possibility where you can turn these tools into therapeutic technologies. We're not quite there yet. That's where we're starting out with research reagents only. But it's possible that then we can engineer something where if you need to deliver a certain dose of something and you want it only at a certain time in a certain area of your body, you can develop something that using light, it'll trigger that for sure. What I'm hoping to get out of this presentation, which I think is what you were asking, is just feedback just in general from people that are scientists, non-scientists, people who don't usually hear biotech talks. That's always very insightful. So all these questions, especially the note about, I don't really think expression was the right word here, or maybe to clarify that, I think that's very valid, and I will certainly keep that in mind.
In the research for mice, you have a sham in the head of the mouse.
Correct.
Is what you're doing targeted to humans?
So the example that I showed with the mice, I should clarify, underneath, I show the reference for that, and it's actually from a lab at Stanford. They're not working with humans yet, and we're not proposing to work with humans yet either, or with mice. We're primarily working with human cell lines grown in culture. We're working with a zebrafish model, which is a vertebrate model for development. Working with yeast, like the sublicensee that I spoke about, we're working with yeast and bacteria. So very simple organisms, but there are actually, this field of optogenetics has been around for 10 years, and that experiment that I showed you was from 2005. So there are many tools now where you can put stuff inside LED fiber optic probes inside of mouse brains. And there are companies that sell them actually now, because this has taken off in neuroscience.
So how are you going to translate the research you're doing to affect humans?
Right, so that's definitely in the long term, and I don't have any concrete plans yet to tell you about. I think that's probably 8 years from now, where we actually jump into that. I'm a biochemist by training, so that is still a little bit foreign to me. We'd have to collaborate with someone who's familiar with doing mouse work and then working with humans. But I will mention that the technologies for LEDs, which would be applicable to us, are just taking off. There are micro LEDs now, where you can implant them inside of the body in mice, and you can send signals wirelessly for the LED to turn on. So the technology is being developed right now to illuminate these types of systems. But us, Optologix, we're not in that field yet because we've only been a company for a year, and we feel really strongly that if we can develop the tool as a research reagent first, get some, start selling some kits, start talking to people and customers, then we'll get more credibility and be able to get those research dollars to develop more products, which will eventually become therapeutics later.
Question over here.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Chaz. I work with high schoolers. And I wanted to go back to school today and tell them about a cool company that I heard about called Optologix. How can I sum it up to a group of high schoolers?
How can you sum it up? Great. So I always like to bring up the example of plants because that's something that we're all very familiar with. Like we see plants growing in our house and they move towards the light. So I always like to tell people, think of that and then think about what are the molecular or the parts inside of the plant that drive that. And these are photosensors. And nature has many photosensors that do many different things. So wouldn't it be neat if we could take those and adapt them and engineer them and make them do stuff inside of our body, inside of animals, that would benefit us and would eliminate our need to use chemicals to do some of those things. So I think of it as eco-friendly in the sense that we're trying to get rid of the use of chemicals inside of experiments, inside of therapeutics, etc. So maybe connecting it to the plant example, I think we'll get to see, oh yeah, things can sense light and then do stuff. Like what if we engineer something to take advantage of that? Question in the back.
What is your strategy for going to market for selling the licenses that you guys are going to be having to companies?
Sure. So just to be clear, you're asking what is the strategy to get more licensees?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you guys are a pretty like product heavy company, which is awesome. Like building your product. What's the strategy for selling it?
Sure. So two strategies. One, we have to target academic users first. And this will be easy for us because we've been in academia for 10 years, so we know the field and we know that people are ready to try these products. Especially people who know about optogenetics but don't have a collaborator that they can talk to about it. So if we as a company go to them and say, this is a kit, I have the protocol for you, I know it's going to work for you, here you go, and you can use it for whatever you want, they're going to take advantage of that. And we plan to launch our product in 2 weeks on our website. We have a distribution deal with a Japanese company, so that's going to get us into that market over there. The second strategy, which is how do we get sub-licensees from companies, like major companies. And we've talked to people at Intrexon, which is another genome engineering company. We've talked to people in what's called Janssen, which is the Johnson & Johnson R&D division. So just going to conferences at this point is how we're reaching those people and connections through personal contacts. Beyond that, we haven't thought of a marketing strategy to get us there yet.
Someone asked this earlier, and I don't think you fully answered. When you talk about gene expression, I think like the color of your eye on a more permanent basis. But what are you trying to accomplish? Is this like a temporary firing of neuronal activity, like a medicine would cause for a specific period of time?
So, sorry again for not being clear on that. So when I say, in our field, when we say gene expression, it just really means turning a gene on or off. So, in the case that I was trying to explain was, scientists working in labs, research scientists, every day are trying to figure out what causes disease. And they have some idea of what gene is responsible. So in order to study that further, what they have to do is regulate the levels of that protein that they think could be involved in disease. And they do this using those chemical tools that we were talking about. So it can be really any gene that they suspect is involved in disease. So instead of using chemical tools, we want them to use light-driven tools because it's going to give them clearer results and it's going to enable them to do other experiments that were not possible before with chemical tools, because now they have the spatial capability, temporal position, and in that regard. So we're not focusing on neuroscience. It can be in any field that you're studying. It could be metabolism, cardiovascular disease, any gene that you want to control, you can use our tools for that.
Awesome. One more round of applause for Optologix.
All right, before we bring up our next presenter, just a quick reminder on how to better connect with us. We're very active on social media, so we've put up our hashtags and then the Twitter handles for your reference. And then we also have a really great board over by the elevator for all of your events. So we really welcome you to bring all of those up to the board, share with us, and tell us what's going on in the community. And then not only do we have our YouTube channel and our newsletter, but we're also very active on our Facebook page. So please keep sharing the event. Email us, dallas@1millioncups.com. If you want to get involved, sponsor, present, we just want you to stay in contact with us. But yeah, next up we have our second presenter. So everyone please stand up, give a big round of applause. We have Laramie from Jangled.
Thank you. So, how many of y'all out there are parents who want the best for your kids, or had parents who wanted the best for you? Let me see your hands. It should be everybody. My name is Laramie Bergerson, and I'm the founder and CEO of Jangled. And Jangled is a reward-based platform that connects families to businesses while teaching kids about goal setting, time management, and responsibility. So this is my son, Trey. He's 10, loves sports, loves video games, doesn't too much love homework and chores like a lot of kids out there. He's always wanted the newest video game or to go to Dave & Buster's or Top Golf, and as the dad, I want to make sure that I give it to him. He came home once with a report card that wasn't too great. He always talks about wanting to go to Stanford or Harvard or all these top schools, and he had a report card full of B's and C's. And I was like, dude, you're not going to get the college X with these grades, so, we figured the time was right in second grade to kind of put him on the right path. So I was just like, what can I do to make this happen? So I decided to build a notification system to let me know when he had done what he's supposed to do. So the big question and the big problem that we're trying to solve is, how can I be a more engaged parent and prepare my child for future success? And I think we did that with Dangle. So Dangle is an app, and this is how it works. It's a simple 5-step process to get your kids from where they are to where you want them to go. You create tasks, and so it's a dual interface. So you have an app and your kid has their own app. So if you're traveling or you don't live with them or you're a consultant or whatever, you can still be an engaged parent. And through these 5 steps, your child goes from creating the task ultimately to getting points for completing the task and getting some type of reward. And the cool thing about Dangle is these rewards can be whatever you decide, or they can be business sponsored. So if your kid loves going to the movies, there's sponsored rewards that you can get a discount to go to the movies. So it's really a unique platform in that regard. The big question that everybody has, is how do you make sure that your kids are doing what they're supposed to do if you're not there? They're not lying essentially, because they can be pretty creative in how they get around stuff. So we built in a photo verification feature that lets you know what they're supposed to do, kind of like Snapchat. I'm not ashamed to say that I use Snapchat even as a dad, so I kind of knew what was going on. So we play in the family and the mobile coupon market. The family check market is $2 trillion, and the mobile coupon is $40 billion. So we have a huge opportunity to work with. So we're going after kids, or families with kids ages 8 to 15. To hit our revenue goals and projections, we need to hit 300,000 families as our premium customers. And these customers are those that get access to our premium tier rewards from your national retailers, your professional sports teams, etc. And as far as the targets, we're working with local businesses and national businesses to actually advertise on our platform and offer those rewards. So we're different than Groupon because we're not taking a piece of the transaction or the profits or revenues that are made from new sales. It's just a one-time fee. So there are some competitors in the space. You can see, probably the leading one in the space is Chore Monster. They skew a little bit younger than we do. They're around ages 4 to 9, or we're 8 to 15. And that's just because after talking to a bunch of kids, we asked do you want stickers and stars, or do you want real tangible products? And it's overwhelmingly I want stuff. So that's kind of where it came from. The product is built. We're in a private beta right now, around 1,000 influencers around the country. Big segment of them are here in DFW. You can see it's real and live. It's just some screenshots of how easy it is to get set up. We have it categorized and out by segments. So you can do homework, chores, extracurriculars. You can assign custom tasks. Like grandma's birthday's coming up. Give her a call. Make sure you don't forget. Be a good steward of that. So here's the business model. Like you can see, it's a dual revenue stream. So families to get access to the premium rewards. It's a monthly subscription that we're going to be leaning towards. And then businesses, like we said, paying a flat fee per month to, offer up that reward. You can see we're in a pilots with a few national retailers and big box brands. We have some sports teams that we're, putting through the process, and then a few local businesses on, seeing what offers they're willing to give us, and how that really drives traffic for them. So to this point, we've accomplished some pretty cool things. We went to Y Combinator. They had a military summit for veterans that could apply. We were one of the 10 companies that got in. We're really excited to see people on the platform really starting to grow and use it and understand how it works. Our tasks overall doubled from June to July. In consumer apps, engagement is really the big metric, and our engagement's going up every week. It went up 8% over the summer. So, we're starting to try to figure out what our customers are wanting and how we can build a better product to keep them engaged. Most importantly, you can see, we have a parent that hit us up and was like, hey, my kid's now making his bed every day. So we have an awesome team. Here myself, I was like an ed tech sales leader. Andre is our CTO, co-founder, is computer science, built a ton of products that you can. It's actually my sister, not my wife. She runs growth and ops for us. And then Devin is our advisor. He runs native clients and Slack, and he used to be the head of engineering at if this and that. So, we have an awesome team that's going to deliver an awesome product. This is for development, partnership, and operating expenses, and we plan on getting 10,000 families out of this and partnering with 5 businesses. So, we want to invite y'all to our private beta test. It's jangled.com/beta. And the password is password protected, so to get in, you need to type in help, and that'll get you access. And we're giving away to the family that gets through the most rewards and finds the most value of it. We're going to be giving away some gifts and prizes to them. So 6 minutes, right on time.
One more round of applause for Dangle. Once again, we're opening the floor for Q&A and feedback. Raise your hand high and I will bring you the microphone.
So I'm interested if there's ways for teachers also to plug in with parents and collaborate on assigning tasks to their students, and as well with the parents, if that's something you've thought about.
That's definitely something we've thought about. So I used to, kind of sell to schools and work with a lot of IT departments in schools, and that's been one of the big feedbacks. Is like from teachers, it's like, hey, it's be great to plug in, like you said, and really kind of create that triangle, because research shows that increased parental engagement, improves student successes and, increased attendance, which leads to more money for the school. So it's just a, kind of a virtuous circle. But what we have to do is kind of like scrub and scrape, kind of legacy systems and data to integrate with our app. It's something that's definitely on the pipeline that we want to do, because we want to replace the homework folder in the future so that everybody knows every day what to do.
Thanks for presenting. I noticed your target market is kids age 8 to 15. A lot of parents are uncomfortable giving their kids a smartphone with a camera at age 8 for obvious reasons. And have you given that any consideration?
Yes, we did. We actually did like a survey. So my son goes to school here in Park Cities now. He was in Frisco when this all started, and I couldn't keep driving on the tollway. And kind of what we saw was 80% of the kids either had a smartphone or a tablet that was able. So Dangle works on tablets as well if you don't feel comfortable with a cellular connection, so that you can still manage it in the house. And as long as you're on Wi-Fi, it still works. The parents are the only ones that can kind of create the logins right now, so they're the ones that are setting it up and are giving access to the kid. So we want, we're very cautious and security around children, that's something that you don't want to mess around with. So we want to make sure that parents are engaged and involved, and it's not right for every family, but for the ones that believe in it and want to give it a shot, we're there for them.
Just a quick reminder, we also welcome feedback.
And if I missed it, I apologize. Can you distinguish a little bit between sort of the premium versus the normal, sort of like what someone would get by paying versus the freemium deal?
Yeah, so that premium kind of came from our big corporate feedback from our corporate, people we're working with. So if you have a top tier brand like Nike or AMC Movies or Topgolf, they can only be with other top tier brands. So as a way to kind of segment them off and wall them off, we had to come up with a way to just keep them, and that's kind of where the premium version came from. Also with the premium version, we're looking in the future, on kind of Fitbit challenges, more social integrations, maybe some artificial intelligence that we're, piloting out as well. It's kind of weird, but, so these premium products are going to be, the premium, version is going to just have a lot more enhancements.
So sorry, real quick, so is there a premium for the parents or it's always free for the parents and kids?
He said, is there a premium for the parents or a premium for parents and kids? It's one account per family. So, however many kids, we've seen some out there that are, $1 per kid or, $2 per kid or, $20 a year. And we just decided, if you have 1 kid or 100 kids, then, it's going to be the same price.
Over here.
Some really good feedback for people who are also building apps looking for top tier brands. The process that you've gone through is really helpful for them, so thanks for sharing that. The other question that I have is, what is your background coming into Dangle? Because I think you've been doing this for a little while, you've definitely been working on a beta for a little while. So what are you bringing as your background to Dangle in the process?
So I was in the Navy. I went to the Naval Academy, and then I was in the Navy. So I was gone for pretty much the first year of my kid's life, and I kind of saw from firsthand experience and from other sailors on the boat just how important it was to stay connected to their kids. You don't know how many one-on-one counseling sessions I had to do with my young sailors on just missing home and problems going on at home. From there, I got out and I worked at Verizon. I actually sold cloud and private internet to school districts. So I'm really good with the back end and just making sure the data is secure. I have a friend who runs a tech company in San Francisco, and I finished grad school, and I just kind of had this personal problem. I didn't really know what to do, and then it just kind of came to me. So trying to just working in education and seeing how kids use tablets and technology and how it changes the learning experience, I knew if we could build something that was engaging and fun for them to use, we might have a shot.
And following up, someone who asked about the premium that people pay for that top tier group of companies. So there needs to be a net benefit to the premium payer. So when they're paying a premium, they're then receiving a discount on.
Correct.
When they're.
So let's say
child.
Right, exactly. So let's say little Johnny wants to go to a math game, and you're able to buy as a premium customer discounted math tickets, through a link or through a coupon in the app, or any of these other brands are like free hour golf at here, a coupon at GameStop. So that's kind of the net benefit of being a premium customer.
What is the premium?
What's that? How much?
Yes.
That's going to be $5 a month. We haven't rolled it out because we're still in pilot mode, but we've sold some lifetime memberships, kind of like betting on Netflix early. So we say, $20 a month, $20 one-time fee, and if you get it, and if you buy it now and it hits, then you're, good, because it's just a 1 and 0 in the back end, like you have access already to it. So, it's just a way to kind of test that out.
Question, Matt?
I may have misread one of your slides, but what it looked like was that the kid assigns the chore and the value. Is that right?
No, I'm sorry. Like there's the kids interface as well, so that's all the parent side right there. So the parents are the ones that are assigning everything. The kids more in receive mode, and they can just transmit, hit a button on their phone or tablet, say, "Hey, Dad, I put up my shoes," and a notification comes over to my phone that Trey put up his shoes.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. My name is Bill. I'm a former Army officer, so I appreciate veterans and entrepreneurship. There seems to be some confusion about how you're going to differentiate the freemium from the premium. And I just want to offer to this, on the way over here this morning, I was listening to A16Z, the Anderson Horowitz. They had 2 really good podcasts on pricing, and they addressed this issue directly. I just encourage you to go online and listen to the podcast. That
Sure,
help you
thank
out.
you. Thank you.
Any other questions and feedback? Oh,
My question is with regards to the concept of motivation, and obviously that's sort of the driving goal behind what you're trying to do. Have you looked into studies of extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation, especially as it relates to that age group?
Yes, we've looked into it, and it's split, honestly. Some people don't believe in it, and some people do. I mean, I had an admiral in the Navy tell me that he understands it, but he hates it because as a parent, your child should just listen just because, or you should be a good enough motivator or leader. And I totally get that. That's kind of what I was. That's how I was raised. It's different these days with kids, at least with my kid and the hundreds of other kids that we talk to. And with the feedback, and after talking to educators and counselors and leaders, one, they say that we're preparing them for kind of adult life because a lot of us go to work, a lot of folks go to work to get paid and to make money. And two, it's it teaches them about like today's on demand. And this is actually what an investor in like Snapchat, one of those awesome companies, told me. She was like, today's kids are like very spoiled by everything being on demand, and they're not really getting access. They're used to pushing a button when something happens. But with Dangle, and a lot of some other good products, they're able to set a goal, work towards it. And when people frame it that way, we're really that made a lot more sense.
Question back here.
Hey, thanks for your presentation. I was curious if you guys have already put a lot of thought into how you're going to deal with, for example, you gave like a Mavs ticket example. How are you going to keep those brands motivated to offer those discounts before you have the volume to really justify those kind of discounts? Is that something that you're just going to pay them to just play for now until it makes sense for them, or are you guys still figuring out how to handle that?
So it's actually a combo platter. So some of the teams are like, we'll let you do it, but you're going to have to commit to a certain revenue spend. And then other brands are like, yeah, sounds cool. We'll pilot you, 10 tickets or 10, custom experiences just because we think it's cool. And if we're able to get a younger customer and, create that loyalty at, age 10, because it shows once you go to your first game, like 85% of the people return to another game. So the numbers are there for them to support it. And, they have a lot of inventory. We found that baseball has the most inventory. There's 81 home games. So trying to keep the stadium full gives them a lot more flexibility to play around.
Question over here.
Yeah, so my question is, nowadays there's so many things that are fighting for our attention on our phones, and with that, it's like you're if you have an app, when someone pulls out their phone, you're not just competing with other like-minded apps. You're competing with everything else that's fighting for your attention. So, have you given any thought to the idea of integrating with other things, whether a parent receives an email when a task is completed, or some sort of maybe platform that they're already using?
Yeah, we've looked at that, just like that is API work to integrate with, other things. Like if this and that is one of them that's we're already, kind of working on it just because we pulled the whole head of engineering, so that's, a natural progression. But we're also looking at like, Apple products, Fitbit, so you can kind of track and manage, location of, kids that say they're going to be here, they take the steps where the outside as long as they said they were. There's some other kind of cool opportunities that we think we have that we can leverage. Just with like Pokemon Go or Snapchat or these other apps and brands that kids are already on. So the big thing for us is really trying to keep kids excited, because we think if we can get kids excited, then we'll win. I mean, all the other competitors and other platforms out there, parents love it, but kids are like, oh, I don't want to use this. So we're really going after that child. So I've talked to a lot of kids. I had to bring some moms on board because I felt kind of weird as a big dude going and asking a small kid like, hey, what's your favorite game or what's your favorite toy? But, with that feedback, we're trying to make it better.
The final question, what can the community do for you?
If there is anyone with like connections to, cool brands or brands that they think that kids would be excited about, we'd be thrilled if y'all forward them our way with a name or connection, so we're looking to try to get into Topgolf. We kind of talk to them, but, more executive connection to Topgolf. Anybody at GameStop. So our three biggest rewards are food, retail, and entertainment. And video games is probably number one overall right now. So GameStop is something that we definitely want to get into. Movies, movie tickets as well. So, any connections or any local businesses like ice cream shops or sporting goods stores that, I think that their son or daughter would be interested in, that'd be awesome for us.
Awesome, one more round of applause for Dangle.
All right, this wraps up the end of the program. So I just wanted to thank you guys again. We encourage you to stay, network, grab some more coffee. If you've never been to the space before, Emmanuel will lead you through a tour. He's waving his hand back there. It's pretty awesome here. And just email us, come find us if you have any questions at any time, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.
Right.